Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to PBTV. Very special day today. We are going to do a WADSN brand showcase, so you can see all the parts that I've tricked out on this bolt. We're going to go through loads of different bits. We've got some PEC boxes. We've got the D-bal style here. We've got switches. We've got torches. I've got loads of other bits off-screen, mounts, high-rise mounts, all sorts of bits. So if you've got a question on anything that we covered today, if it's something we have covered or whether or not we do it, by all means, drop it down below. We'll flash it up on screen and try and get to your question as quick as we can. So I'll cover what I've put on the bolt to start with, and then we'll have a look at some other bits. But all the WADSN stuff is available right now. Just go check it out. So we've got a sort of one of the setups that you can do with the various bits. So we've got the D-bal on here, we've got the augmented switch, and we've got one of the 640 torches. So we'll go through what these things can do and how you can put these together, because they are all available separately. You don't have to get it all as a one. So the D-bal, the dual beam and laser system that is on here. We do have an S-bal as well, which is a single beam. So it is two lasers, a torch, and some other bits. All the controls are done on the back here. So you might be able to see them. There's loads of text on the back of the box that allows you to turn it onto momentary or on and off. So what that means is momentary means when you press the button, it's on, and when you release the button, it's off. When it's on the other version, when you press the button, it stays on. You can then choose what kind of setup you want, whether or not you want a visible laser, torch, IR laser, all that kind of stuff. All is available on this. So you do have IR, visible laser, and white light on this, all in a very, very neat, compact system. You can see that the switch that I've put on the back is jacked in here, and it is a 2.5mm jack. The D-bal does come with its own pressure switch, so you can use it with that straight out the box. It does have a button on top as well. You may be able to see the laser appear on the desk just there. So we do have the laser version set up there, and if we spin it all the way around on this switch, you can then see the torch turn on. Obviously the white light does strobe. So again, this is all able to set up exactly how you want it, and then there are rubber covers just in case you get an accidental fire, so you're not going to give yourself away. What's really, really cool with this system as well is you've got loads of dials on the top here that allows you to zero all the lasers. So if you've got the, and you can even slightly adjust the angle that the torch points as well. It means you can zero it, means that you can be accurate, so you're not just firing a laser out for absolutely no apparent reason. There is also a blue screw on the back of here, so that's there specifically because when you flick it past that, it turns it into a high power system, so you get a slightly brighter torch and a slightly brighter laser. It does affect the IR as well, so you do get very sort of varied power systems. So coming to the switch then, we'll have a look at the switch. As you can see, I've mounted this on a bit of Riz. So we've got the tan version here, and the two bars down the side are what is attaching this to the Riz section. There is an Allen key section here and one at the front. I have brought them out. So this comes in the packet with it. Those are the M-lock parts. So just because this is mounted to Riz does not limit you to that at all. This will fit onto M-lock and key mod as well. So any type of rail mounting system, this can fit to it. You either use the struts on the side to fit it to Riz, or the two Allen keys on either end, remove them, and you've got the key mod and the M-lock parts in the box with it, and you can mount it up. As you can see, this version does have 3 switches on it. There are loads of different versions of this setup. There is a 2-switch version, a 3-switch version, and a single switch version. Both are available in black and tan as well. Most of the WADSN stuff is available in black and tan. There's only some very sort of specific items that are only available in one colour, most likely black. So what we have here is one button affects the D-bal, one button will affect the torch that it is attached to, and then the button at the end is the on-off switch for the torch. So, for example, pressing the one at the back, you can see that that is affecting the D-bal and turning it on and off in a momentary style. So when I press it, it turns off. When I release it, it turns on and then it turns off. That has one little nodule on it, and then there is one that has 2. So if you are in the dark, you have a little reference for when you've got your thumb pressed on this. The other one, as you can see, the normal torch down there has turned on. With the button at the far end, pressing that, you'll hear a click, and then it turns off again. Again, you've got full control over all your accessories from one single place. You're not having to press this or move your hand around. Paul Eastwood, what batteries does it take? The D-bal and the 640 here both take CR123s. Most, if not all, I will correct myself if I come to it, but I think all WADSN accessories take CR123 batteries, and they do accept the rechargeable ones. So if you do have rechargeables, I know some items they don't really like them and they don't work properly with them, but the D-bal currently has a rechargeable in it, and the 640 torch down here has just off-the-shelf standard ones. So coming on to the torch, so the augmented switch that we have here, obviously it has a 2.5mm jack for the D-bal, and it has the normal quick connect style plug at the back. There are various different types, and obviously if you run a sort of normal PEC box like a PEC 15 or something like that, which WADSN do, you can get a 3.5mm version of this. So again, all the different versions are available. You can swap it out and make sure you get the right switch for the job that you want to do. If you're not wanting to do a dual setup like what we've done here and you're just wanting a torch, you can get that, or you can get a single switch version which will just go to the D-bal and mount up like this. Again, you can stick this on M-lock, you can stick it on key mod, or you can stick it on Riz like this. And what this allows is that I can control my laser and my torch from exactly the same position, not have to move my hand or anything like that. I've got full control of all my accessories from one spot, which is absolutely amazing. So, coming on to the 640. Oh, Liam on YouTube. Is the laser worth getting for a woodland site and a torch for woodland? So, normally, if it is a woodland site, the D-bal and stuff, lasers are obviously a little bit more for CQB, very fast, moving around a corner, and you've just got a sort of reference point. Torches, again, offer multiple functions, because a lot of people don't realise that a torch can also be an aiming device or an aiming system. A lot of the WADSN items have a very, very bright centre spot, so you know wherever that torch lands, that's roughly where your BB is going to go. Lasers outdoors, not really too much of an advantage, really. The best thing that a laser in a woodland is going to be is if you're trying to ID something or point at someone and try and let your teammates know they are there. Obviously, with lasers, be very careful with them. Be safe with them. All the WADSN ones are in a sort of power limit that is well under anything that could possibly damage anyone's eyes or anything like that. But again, you don't want to be shining these in people's eyes. So keep the aim low, and you can use them as target identification, not really aiming outdoors. But having IR and a visible one on here, totally fine. And what you can do with this setup, if you are in woodland, you can have one setup as solid white light, that what we've done here, and the other one as strobe, in case you want to come around and sort of distract someone. So this setup does work in both, but the lasers are more for CQB. So, coming on to the 640. Oh, Daniel, do they do a solo laser? Yes, so I've got the D-bal up here that has the IR laser, IR light, and visible illumination. There is a micro D-bal that is in full aluminium that just has the two lasers. So there's no white light, there's no nothing. It's about half the size of this, and it's got IR laser and red visible laser. We only stock red laser because it is the safest form. We don't have any way of testing powers of lasers, and with wavelengths and everything like that, we don't want to go anywhere near green or blue ones because we don't think that they are safe enough. So when you are looking at these, make sure it is red and make sure that you are allowed to use them on your site, because various different sites have various different rules. So, coming onto the 640, as you can see that this has a very different mount to what you've seen on other torches before. So, I've mounted it here, and you can see it's sat at almost a 45-degree angle. There is a flathead screw just there. If I loosen that, you have a sort of 90-degree arc where you can twist the torch and put it exactly where you want. So, you don't need an extra mount to put it at 45. You can just do it with this one out the box. So, as you saw earlier, it's currently sat in a momentary on-off system. If I want to twist the head like this, I can turn it into a off position, so I can't accidentally fire it. If you're working at night or in a building, you don't want to dazzle yourself, that's totally fine. If I turn it and twist it again, we get a strobe system. So again, you've got loads of options of how you want to set this up. If you want a strobe, solid light, all sorts of things. With these torches, what we find, a lot of people get them and they try and take the back end off to try and fit the batteries. All the WADSN torches and all torches like this, the batteries go in and out from the front, so you don't have to take your plug out, you don't have to take it off your platform. Take the head off the torch, and that's where the batteries go in and out, making it very, very easy to swap your batteries out, even if it's mounted on a platform. Logan, does the laser have a visible beam, or do you just see a dot that you're aiming? So the only way you can ever see a laser when it's not actually hitting something at the end, because a laser has to reflect off something for you to be able to see it. So you're not going to physically be able to see the beam unless you're maybe in CQB, there's a lot of smoke. So if someone pops a smoke grenade, you're definitely going to see the laser. But apart from that, you are only going to see the dot at the far end, because lasers have to reflect back off something for you to be able to see it. So whether or not that's a tree, another player, a wall, etc., you're going to see the dot. If someone pops a smoke grenade, a nice big white cloud in front of you, you will see the laser reflecting off the smoke and coming back, and you'll get the really cool laser show, and you get distracted, and then you're probably shot by another player. So coming off the torches and lasers quickly, so the mount here is obviously a WADSN part. The actual micro magnifier is something that we've had in before, so we thought we'd throw this on just so you could see it. A lot of people ask whether or not you can get an optic setup or things like that for full face masks, like dye masks or anything like that. So this is a flip down system. So rather than it flipping to the side or flipping up, it's a very high mount, so you can get another high mount up here, so you can see where roughly your head's going to sit with this, and you flip down, so it doesn't flip left or right, changing the sort of profile of your platform. It just sits really, really neat, and it flips up and down into line of sight. Obviously, there's a magnifier. You will need a T1 or something to go in front of it, and another high-rise mount. But we've got that in black and tan as well, and it's a flip up and flip down. Very, very cool. Nice, neat, and tidy. I wasn't a massive fan when I first saw these coming out, but now that I've seen them in person, really, really cool. Again, if you have multiple optics or anything, these are simply a lever, quick change. I'm not going to be able to do it now because I've put it on too tight, but it is simply lever and quick change. So you can simply drop it on and off, put it onto a different platform, flip the lever over, and then it's back on. So if you've got multiple platforms, you don't need multiple optics. You can simply swap between the two. So covered quite a bit there. So we've got the 640W torch on the front. We've got the multifunction D-bal A2 on the top there, and we've got the multi-augmented switch. Again, loads of different variants and loads of different versions. Pest, any news on the Maul instead of the D-bal? Soon. That's all I can say, soon. We don't have them yet, but we do have a little bit of news on them. But yes, we should be able to get some very, very soon. But unfortunately not yet. I know how cool they are. I do have one. But we don't currently have them yet. So yes, what Pest is on about there is the D-bal system. There is a slightly different one that's called the Maul that sits off to one side, and it's got multiple functions and lasers and lights and stuff, and it just sits a little bit neater in the sort of 45 of an arc rather than a big box on the top. Again, the D-bal is very, very cool, and it serves a absolutely awesome purpose, but some people want something a little bit sleeker and a little bit more low profile, so that is an option. So we've covered the sort of rifle-mounted stuff with the D-bal and everything and the augmented switches. So when it comes to pistols and things like that, you don't really see many multi-purpose setups. But here is one of them. So we have a D-bal version here, and there is a S-bal version. So as I said earlier, there is a dual beam and laser system, and there is an S-bal, which is a single beam and laser system. So this one, the S-bal, has white light and a visible laser, controlled by switches on the side, and again, available in black, and they're both available in both colours. But the D-bal PL for pistols has visible light, IR light, visible laser, and IR. Pressing the two bits at the bottom, we can find a very large battery compartment that you can house two, again, CR123 batteries. All the WADSN stuff take this style of batteries, making it very convenient, very easy for having multiple setups, multiple systems. And again, pressing it, again, this is a on-off style system, so pressing it turns it off, pressing it turns it on, and pressing it turns it off. On the other side, obviously, you won't be able to see it, but there is an IR system on this. If I press and hold the button, after a short period of time, you can see a laser will appear as well, if I can try and shine that on something that you can see. And again, pressing the light then turns the light on and off. It does not turn the laser off. You have to press and hold, and then it turns off. It is quite quick, so it's not something you're not going to be able to use in-game, but most of the time with this, it's going to be a light source. What I will say about the WADSN stuff compared to other brands is the brightness of the LEDs and the bulbs that are in these things is something I have never ever seen before. Normally with systems like this, even the reflections are totally fine. The power of the bulbs that are coming out of this are something beyond anything I've seen on a lighting system before. Exceptionally bright for such a small platform. Even the IR system is just flooding entire rooms. And again, as I said earlier, you can see kind of see that there is a very, very tight hotspot in most of the lights splashes with these. What that means is if you are coming around a corner and you have that really tight bright spot, you can use that as an aiming device. So wherever that sort of hotspot of bulb is, you know roughly that is where your BB is going to land. So again, this is the D-bal PL, so dual beam, so you've got both lasers and both style of light source. If we then go to the S-bal, so this is a slightly narrower version. 5 productions. Can you attach a pressure pad to the D-bal and S-bal for pistols? No, these are controlled via buttons on the side. When it comes to the rifle mounted torches, yes, there are. I think there's about 6, maybe 8 different style of pressure pads that you can fit, but not to these ones, unfortunately, because they're controlled by switches on the side. So these are really indexable, so exactly where your finger's going to sit, and very, very convenient. The S-bal, so the single beam version, only needs a single battery, whereas the dual function needs 2 batteries. So again, there's more power in this one, so it needs a little bit more battery power. Coming on to some slightly other torches, so I'll come on to the WML torch. These are really, really cool. These are really, really popular with sort of speed softers and various other people that like C-clamping and stuff like that, but just want to replace the front end. So this almost replaces your front iron sights with a light source. So it is a pressure pad at the back, and again, there is a sort of mode switch on one side. So if I press this in one mode, pressing it turns it on, pressing it turns it off. If I flick that all the way over, it's going to change it into momentary. All the WML torches, if you double tap it, it stays on. So if I double tap it like that, it will stay on in solid mode. If I flick it over and double tap it, it will stay on in a strobe style mode. Again, you've got to press and hold it. There's various different things. These are spring loaded to mount, so you can see pressing that moves it open. You press that close, drop it onto your Riz, and then you can tighten it up. These are really, really cool. Replacing your front iron sight, so when you're holding your rail, your thumb sits on it nice and neatly. Again, a lot of thought going into accidental firing and stuff like that. If you're not wanting to give yourself away, the bar at the back, simply flick that up, and your thumb can't get into the point where you need to press it. So again, flick it down. This is also good if you're packing it away. You don't want a box or any of your gear to sort of press it and drain all your batteries. It's just a really good way of preventing your batteries going out. Speaking of batteries, exactly the same as the other ones. Batteries are mounted in the front. And again, the single ones take a single CR123. The larger ones will take 2. So make sure you get the right amount of batteries for the one that you get. So that's the WML torch. I'm quickly going to go back to the 640 torch that I have on the front of here, because I did mention the mounting system that is on here is really good for Riz, and you can change it to 45 and anything like that. And I also mentioned the switch is good for Keymod and M-Lock. Inside the box for the torch, you will get an M-Lock style mount as well. So exactly how I've mounted this one onto the Riz, you get this bit, so you can swap that bit out, put this bit on, and you can mount it onto Keymod and M-Lock. So again, thinking of absolutely everything. If you get one of these, you will be able to fit it to any style of platform. So, coming to one of the last bits that we'll look at, and again, if there's any questions about anything that I've covered, please drop them down below, is we are going to look at a mounting setup that I think is exceptionally cool. It is 2 different parts, and obviously it does not include the optics, but this is the LPVO short dot mount. As you can see, very high-rised, so if you are wearing full face, dye mask or anything like that, or goggles and mesh, it means that you can still get a really, really nice clean sight picture. really neat. Goes together with the Vector optics very nicely, and does really look the part. These are going to look really cool on like SCARs or big heavy rifles or something. Another separate part is the specific 45 mount that is specifically designed for the LPVO mount. As you can see, when I turn it this way, what you sometimes get with 45 mounts is you have to canter the gun a long way over. What they've done with this one, they've made it so the dot and your arc of your short dot are at the same level. So you can actually just shift your head over rather than having to tilt the platform. So if your short dot's sat in 4 or 5 times and someone comes close, you've got a dot just sat there that you can switch to that, get a couple of shots off and not have to adjust your optic, take an aim and probably be too slow and get a BB to the back or something like that. Just gives you, adds a little bit of speed to your play and a little bit of sort of anti-risk management and things like that. Very cool setup. So I've put the Frenzy on there to see if it fits. The plate that's on here can be swapped out for, there's 2 different plates in the box that come with that for RMR, Doctor and everything like that. So you could put a T1 on here, you could put a Doctor sight on there, you can put the Frenzy on there like I have. And again, with the LPVO style mount, I've put a short dot on there, but there's nothing stopping you putting a full magnified scope on there for a sniper or anything. And again, you've got the side mount that you could put a thermal or anything you want on there just for scanning or whatever you want. But very cool setup, so I thought I'd bring it on to show. I know a lot of people have been wondering when that thing's going to be coming out. So covered a lot there, so if there are any final questions, I'll quickly go over a few of the features of what we've covered, but if there's any final questions, please do ask. So what we've covered today is the D-bal, the dual beam and laser system. So you've got IR laser, red laser and visible torch. We've got the augmented multifunction switch. Again, this is the one that has 3 buttons. We've got versions that have 2 and some that have 1. So there is a switch system for every different style of setup. If you're wanting just a torch, if you're wanting just a PEC box, if you're wanting just the 2 momentary switches, and then you've got this one which has the on-off switch as well. Coming down to the 640W, so this is a system that has a twistable head to be solid light, off or strobe. Again, giving you a full amount of setup to sort it. Is the D-bal M-lock? No, the D-bal does have to fit to 20mm RIS. It is a quick detached system under the bottom, so you will just need a single slot of RIS section to mount that onto any platform. Again, normally platforms that do have M-lock on the sides or the bottom normally have RIS across the bottom, so this will fit on 90% of platforms, but it does need RIS to mount, unfortunately. The torch, on the other hand, that is currently mounted to RIS with this section here, in the box, does come with the M-lock adapter, so you simply take that bit off. There's a little flathead screw, and you take that off and throw it on there. But yeah, so multifunction switches, you can get one for every different type. Plug and play 3.5mm jack for your PEC 15s or 2.5mm jack for your D-bals. Can you flip the 45-degree mount on the flashlight? This one, yes. So when it came out of the box, it was designed for this side. So if you unscrew it and flip it around, you will then be able to fit it onto the left-hand side of a platform and flip it down. Yes, I do know what you mean, where you can swap it around and flip it and do all sorts of things. But yes, it does fit on both ways, so you can fit it onto both sides of the platform. Because obviously if I took this off this side now and fit it on this side, the torch would be facing backwards. So you can flip it and put it on this side. You can put it on the top, put it on the bottom, and do whatever you want. And that is the same with the M-lock system that comes in it. You can fit it on any which way you want. And there's a little flathead screwdriver adapter just there, and that's how you do it. So that comes all the way off, allowing you to then rotate the torch in its axis that it's on now, or swap it out to the M-lock system, or swap it so you can fit it to the other side of the platform. All very cool, and even the augmented switches that I've got on the top, you can take the 2 screws out, and that will fit on M-lock as well. So they have thought about everything with that. Again, we looked at the torch D-bals and S-bals, so dual laser and single laser, so you've got white light and visible laser on that one, and then we've got visible and visible light, visible laser, IR light and IR laser on that. So again, if you're running night vision or running at night and you want to run these kinds of things and you want to be a bit more aggressive with just a sidearm, this is an absolute awesome bit of kit. The last thing that we looked at, we do have the WML style torch. I know Speedsofters really like them if you like C-clamping or like that. Replaces your front iron sight with a momentary switch on the back that you can block off in case you don't want to do it. All the torches, including this one, have a very, very nice tight hotspot in the center. So that's normally what Speedsofters and sort of the aggressive players are using. Wherever that very, very tight white spot is, they're using as their aiming device. So you don't need an optic, you don't need a laser or anything. They're using the torch as their targeting device, which is very, very cool. And the brightness on these is something I have not seen before. Yeah, these things are really, really cool. The 640 is awesome. The D-bals are awesome. And all of them are on the new page on the website right now. So if you want to check them out, please do. But if that's everything for today, we have covered a lot. Thank you very much for watching and asking your questions. It makes my life a lot easier. And as always, if you do like this content, please hit that subscribe button. Check the bell so every time that we go live, you get notified. So I'm away for the rest of the week. I'm away tomorrow. So our next live stream will be on Monday. So until then, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.